Yes, guys, welcome. It's Fight Fan TV Network. It's Danny Glover. You know what time it is. So, yes, we're going to do a post fight review of the weekend bonanza of boxing. As I said, I feel this was overall, if you're talking about the whole day of the Saturday into Sunday, that was ultimate tiered. Even though one of them was classified as pay per view, the last fight, the other two they was given for as part of the normal bundle. I found out through my guy Base the Kids. A shout out, thanks for me and him did we did two lives. He did three lives, so he did the marathon. I watched the bit of the chief support and the main event really on the Conor Walker one, but the other two, the Japanese and the American card, we did the watch along together. So first thing first, I'll say let's start off with the Inoue versus Junto Nakatani fight. I was predicting Junto Nakatani to win. I thought stylistically wise, he'd be able to use his size and also enforce and walk Inoue onto the arching left hand, which he nearly did land a couple of times, landed some big shots and some stuff like that. It was very technical and skilled. It was like two guys fencing, the way Inoue was darting in with his feet, with the pendulum step and all that, the triple step. He was and then landing the jabs and stuff like that up top, also to the body. Um, Nakatani with the very wide stance, also like a fencer, but in a different technique. At first, his stance was too wide, where he was sort of too planted and couldn't really have any mobility. And it's only about the third or fourth round when he started to adjust, make his feet a bit more closer, and that's when he started getting some success. I didn't give him a round until about the fourth. Um, and then about the eighth, when he started started imposing himself, he started winning quite a few of the rounds, catching up. I had it 5-4, um, and then five. Was it 5-5? After the 10th, when he had a really good round, but in that same round, he got cut by an accidental clash of heads, um, which on the replay you can see it's kind of him as he was leaning in. The head clash happened, so it was unfortunate, which like went down there and it started like his eye bothering him. And then the 11th round, Inoue really started letting the uppercuts go through the middle, hurting Nakatani, who was in a bit of bother and distress. And then the 12th round, um, did I give it? I think I thought I gave it to Nakatani, but I think Inoue won, and he ended up winning anyway. I thought Inoue did enough, to be fair, and it was 115, 113, 116, 112 on two cards, which yeah, it's about right. So Nakatani pushed Inoue the closest, so I wasn't wrong in thinking that he could beat him or would, but Inoue once again showing why he is the pound for pound dominant force. So well done to him. Congratulations. It was a great show. Even on the undercard, there was a fight. Toshiki Kazuto Toshiki. It was what was the it was it was an 8 rounder on the undercard. Um, there was an 8 rounder on there. Toshiki Kazuka or something like that versus I can't quite remember the name off the top of my head, but it was a really good 8 rounder which was produced by these two. One of them looked like a Far East Asian version of Nick Ball with his build and his head shape and that, and the other one was like very bouncy and sort of almost running and holding a lot. The ref, it was like it was China versus Japan. The ref was giving so much leeway um, to this guy. Didn't take no points off. What was his name? What were the names? Here we go. Yeah, it was what took no. The eight rounder. That was it. Yoshiki Takai versus D Kang Wang. Yoshiki Takai was 11-1, D Kang Wang 9-1, and this was at super bantamweight, and that was a really good fight. Also, Takuma Inoue The brother of Naoya Inoue, he won his fight as well. Um, and after that was on points against Kazuto Ioka for the WBC World Bantamweight title. Um, that was a very good fight. He managed to drop Ioka twice, um, and that was what one in the first, not in the first round, but he dropped him twice. One where he landed a big, where he landed a Florida, and the other one was an uppercut. It was furious because he kind of helped him over with a little push as well, which was counted. So I thought maybe it might be where Ioka's a bit too old and long in the tooth now. But yeah, he managed to get through it, and yeah, it was. He said that I've stepped out of the shadow. Basically, stop calling me Inui's brother. I'm a champion. I'm my own guy. So good on him. Papa Inui had a very happy day. Moving on, let's go with the American card because I know that's what you're waiting for. No, actually, we're gonna save that till last. We're going with the British card. So Bilal Fawaz, first of all, shout out to Shannon Ryan getting a second round knockout. Big overhand right. Dropped the woman. She didn't want no more of that. Her face was like looked like she wanted to cry. Ref had seen enough. Also, Tyre Meyer Ayton got the stoppage. I forgot what round it was. I think it was like the fourth round, I believe. Um, but yeah, some people say that it was a bit premature. She was bashing her up and rocking her, rocking and rolling her all over the place. So it is what it is. I thought that it was all right. It was inevitable. Just taking unnecessary punishment. She weren't going to win, and she was just getting hurt a lot. So yeah, another stoppage win by Tia. So well done to her. The main event, Conor Walker versus Sam Eggington, that was in the Wolverhampton Civic Hall. It's like a nicer version of York Hall. Plus, they've got a second tier, so it holds 2,000, whereas York Hall holds 1,200 legally. But we know we've seen it have more than 1,200 in there. Wouldn't surprise me if there was more than 2,000 in that Civic Hall as well. But the main event, Conor Walker was stepping up a weight class for a fun fight for the Midlands. Sam Eggington, even though he started off at welterweight, has been at light middleweight at 154 and been campaigning at I think has he done a 160 before? May have done that, but I know he was originally a welterweight. But yeah, 154 is where he'd normally been fighting for more recently, and Conor Walker's been a career 147 welterweight. So it was a catch weight, even though it was £1. Both guys weighed 152 points something. But you can see in there, Sam Eggington was the bigger guy, and he was landing the more hurtful punches for a lot of the early rounds, like the first 4 rounds or 5 rounds. I think Tony Bellew gave Sam Eggington all of them. And I couldn't argue with that really because he was landing the more hurtful shots, knocking Conor Walker's head back, body shots was hurting. Walker was getting inside, but the shots he was landing a bit cuffing and weren't really having any effect. And then I said, Eggington's gonna get tired because I've seen him more recently as he got older, get a bit tired, show a bit of distress signals, and that's sort of what happened, but not. It took longer than I thought for that to happen. To be fair, and it was only about the sixth round when the body shot started going in. Finally, Conor Walker started sinking him in, and then he managed to drop um, Sam Eggington with an uppercut right into the pit of the stomach, into the body, and he went on his knee. And then there was a cut that happened, and Eggington was like moaning, complaining about that. I was thinking, please don't do the whole I can't see thing again, like the Lee Cutler thing, because then he would have won on points on a technical decision once again. And I didn't really want to see it end like that. But yeah, then it got to it was no that was the sixth round that he dropped him. The seventh round, Sam Eggington really rallied back, hurt Conor Walker to the body and seemed to the head as well. Walker had no defense, took unnecessary punishment, I think, in there, especially for a fun fight, which may have took something out of him. I hope that it doesn't take too much out of him where before he gets his world title shot, because he does deserve it, especially against Lewis Crocker, who I felt that he just nicked it over the line. I don't think it was like some clear landslide, but I think he done enough to win it that night. Then in the 10th round, he landed a big right hand. Eggington's went on the rope. He hit him with another cluster, like a right hand, left foot, or a left foot, right hand. And that's when Eggington sagged on the rope. A few more punches went in, and yeah, Eggington was out on his feet, and the referee jumped in at the right time. Some said that it was a punch too late or whatever. No, it was at the right time. Eggington's a tough man. You don't just jump in UFC style where a couple of shots go in. And Eggington was ahead on the cards, on the scorecards. I think on my scorecards anyway. And I think on most people's, if you're being honest and you're not, biased, you'd have to say he was ahead on the card. So good stoppage. Conor Walker called out Conor Ben. Eddie Hearn saying he's all for it. Will it happen? I highly doubt it. But he said, let's get it on as chief support for AJ and Fury at the end of the year. So it's a good call out. He's saying he's the real Conor. He's the best Conor in Britain. If you want it, let's have it. No friends in boxing, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But yeah, man, it was all... it was a very entertaining night of boxing. Bilal Faraz stopped his man in the 9th round. He didn't come out of the corner, answer the bell, retired on his stool. So Bilal's still trying to fight to get his British passport. Hopefully the government do something so he is able to travel and get on some big cards in Saudi potentially in the future, and also have get some American spotlight. Because 154, that means he could fight Jaron Ennis, unless Eddie has to bring Jaron Ennis or someone like that over here, which they might not want to, but it'd be better. I'm sure Bilal would actually rather travel over to America for the American dream. It's a thing that most boxers want to do. So yeah, surely they can get. They know he's not he's not up to no crime. He's not pouncing off of the government or anything like that. So yeah, just help him out, man. But yeah, good win over Ryan Kelly. The only person who'd stopped him previously was Hamza Shiraz in the 6th round. So Faraz has got that in the 9th via RTD. Yeah, as I said before, Shannon Ryan, she took out Nicola Hopewell in the 2nd, and Tiamaya Ayton took out Stevie Levy in the 4th round. Yeah, just as I predicted. Yeah, and then moving on to the American card, there was so this was like, and I forgot that because we've moved an hour ahead, because I was feeling the pace of this. I had a little nap because I went to see the old man with Master Aficionado Jr. after we did the Japanese card. Hung out with my dad and my Uncle Dobson, and that's a big up, my Uncle Dobson and Papa Warrior. Come on. So got back, watched the British card, and I had like a little 2-hour nap and then got up. And then I forgot what fight it was I was watching, but I think it was the Ishmael Flores one. But then I wasn't really watching that one. Where I really started tuning in was the Oscar Duarte versus Angel Fierro. Oscar Duarte, this was at super lightweight or light welterweight, 140 pounds. Most people would predicted Oscar Duarte to take out Angel Fierro, because Fierro was the smaller man coming up in weight. Duarte had a good start, landed some big hooks, landed some shots to the back of the head that Fierro was complaining about. It was, I forgot what round it was. It was maybe the 3rd, where he had Fierro going, and then as the bell went, he landed a shot, dropped him, punched him after the bell, dropped Fierro. The ref didn't count it because it was well after the bell, so there was no count, but he didn't take a point off. Normally you take a point or two. After that, Fierro really started getting into his own, firing shots back. Then Duarte just looked a bit ponderous, like a bit of a reborn Canelo. even though he's got that build, he had a little hairstyle like him and whatever. He just plodding forward, trying to look for the one-hit wonder, not really setting up no shots. Fierro was outboxing him, even hurt him late on in the fight, where the bell saved Duarte. Um, I had it a draw at the end, but I knew that they was going to give it to Duarte. Oh no, or did I have Fierro by one? Well, it was either a draw or Fierro by one, but I knew they was going to give it to Duarte because he's the house fighter, the more popular guy, and that's what they did. But it is what it is. But Angel Fierro can come back again. Very good fight. Armando Resendez versus Jaime Munguia. Munguia was cleared of any wrongdoing, by the way. So people trying to say he's a cheat, Eddie Reynoso, can't, blah, blah, blah. They need to scrap that with Jaime Munguia. The test, even VADA and WBC and everyone said that was they messed up the batch. They got his name wrong with someone else's, and so he had nothing. He's fully cleared, nothing scrupulous. But he's fighting Armando Resendez for the what title was it? It was a title on the line, but I forgot what one it was. I don't think it might have been. Is it the WBA? I believe. Yeah. So yeah, Jaime Munguia looked very well. Won the fight. Can't really say there's much highlights to go on, but yeah, it was a good scrap. Both men put each other together. But Jaime Munguia was quicker to the draw, the better foot movement, the better lateral movement, shots and stuff like that. So yeah, big ups to Jaime Munguia winning the WBA super middleweight title. So he's a two-time world champion. So big ups to him. And then in the main event, you had Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez versus David Benavidez for the WBO and WBO and WBA cruiserweight champion titles. So yeah, first round they've come out. You can see Zurdo is a clearly bigger man, even though both men have started off at 168. Both of them are former super middleweight champions. Benavidez had got the WBC at light heavyweight. Zurdo challenged Bivol for the WBA, but was unsuccessful. Moved up to cruiser and became a champion, and then unified. And this was Benavidez' debut at the weight. First round, they've come out, little touching jabs. Benavidez has landed the most significant shot, even sort of rocked Zurdo with a right hand left hook, but it was the right hand that really, because it was fast and hard, rocked him back on his heels. There's a dispute whether Zurdo landed this significant combination straight afterwards. So Base was trying to govern my Kyler commentary, which we're going to have a talk about on Tuesday. So make sure that you tune in to the B&D podcast at 8:45, and we're going to review this big free piece that Zurdo allegedly landed, because I didn't manage to catch it or see it really, or think it was of any note. But big ups to Base. That was funny. So yeah, we're going to get into that. Second round, Benavidez won again, landing some shoe shine punches. Zurdo started landing some jabs, a couple of shots to the body, but not really anything that hard. Benavidez won that round again, and also rocked Zurdo towards the end of the round again, where Zurdo kind of, it moved him up a bit. Third round, another Benavidez round. The fourth round I gave to. No, sorry. Was it the third? Was it the third or fifth? It was the fourth round. Benavidez was landing some big combinations, dropped Zurdo towards the end of the round, broke his nose. You could see his nose was broken. Base was like, oh no, his nose is gone. I don't know if he's going to be able to get. I said, it's only a nose, man. You got to deal with that. But broken noses is normal. Busted nose is normal. That ain't no injury to be getting pulled out for. But the fifth round, they had the doctor come in to check his nose. I'm like, you can't be stopping no fight over no nose, man. That's stupidness. That's like bust lip. That's just standard fight injuries. Um, and then I think it was the fifth round that Zerdo won. Managed to snap the head back of Benavidez, put the pressure on. Um, Base, my co-host, he seemed to think that Benavidez was getting tired from like the third round. I didn't personally see it, and he even thought that Zerdo was winning the round in the fourth until he got dropped. I didn't really see that, but I did give him the fifth round, and then the sixth round is when, as Zerdo trying to pin Benavidez on the rope, Benavidez is using the shoulder roll, dipping down, firing off combinations. Then I noticed that his eye was swollen as he was pressing the action, Zerdo. I was like, oh, this is getting a bit that swelling's looking a bit bad. It's getting a bit hematoma-ish. And Benavidez fired off a 12 punch combination, and then Zerdo went down on one knee. As while in that combination though, as he was firing, the elbows come whacking into the left side of his face, which was not the eye side. Say the injury's here, as he's gone across, the elbow's gone into that side, and then he's punched him again. So he's gone bam, 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 bam. So anyway, it was 13 if you include the elbow. Some people saying there were two elbows that went in there. I didn't see that. I saw one, but it was a 12-piece punch. But 13 if you want to include the elbow. But that was not the reason why Zoda went down. He went down, no mass, couldn't take anymore, and Benavidez is now the unified cruiserweight champion. He called out Canelo. I don't see why he did that. That wasn't a good look. I know normally I was saying from years ago you punch up Canelo and this and that. This was only super middleweight, even light heavyweight. I thought yeah, he can still go down. Canelo is not coming back up to light heavyweight for anybody. There's no reason for him to do so. He was in attendance, and I heard he jetted because he had a feeling Benavidez would call him out if had he won. I don't know if he watched the fight and then jetted as soon as he won. But yeah, you're not going to get the ratings that you think you're going to get or what you would have got, say, a few years ago for beating Canelo. Now you're just a cruiserweight. If you beat up a super middleweight, you're not going to get no ratings. And an old super middleweight who just got beat by a welterweight slash light middleweight in Terence Crawford, but who's really a welterweight. So you're not going to get any ratings for that no more. So just forget that. I know you want the name and the profile, but even the profile's waned. It's like when Oscar De La Hoya beat Julio Cesar Chavez. You're not really going to get the ratings like that because you're beating an old man, and you're beating a smaller old man as well. So just forget it, allow it. He called out. He said that they asked him about Jai Opetaia. He said, yeah, he wants that fight, but obviously he's got to come off a Zuffa for that. Why he went to Zuffa, he doesn't know. But I don't think Jai was thinking about their fight of the Benavidez and Zerdo fight. So he's ways, but he does need to come off Zuffa because that Zuffa title is not worth a dime. I know other people might say everything, but it's not really. It's not going to happen for that. They want the legit belts, and I don't know how exclusive that Jai is to the Zuffa brand and the company. But if he can do it on another show or a mutual card where they can kind of collaborate, that'll be a good look. Because that is a fight where before I was thinking, no, that's a step too far. Benavidez needs to just try and do this one and then just go back down. But now I'm like, this guy can do it now. Benavidez can beat this guy, When you think about it, Jai, as tough as mad as he is, and he's a driller. He is a man who gets prone to like facial damage, and he's had broken jaws and dented head and stuff like that. So Benavidez who's brocking up, mashing up faces and that, broken nose, broken eye socket, and what he did to Yard, smashed up his face. He smashed up quite a few people's faces, to be fair. I think he can do it. Same way if he goes back down to light heavyweight, which he can do. You can see he's got the pounds around the waist and stuff like that. He could definitely drop the 25 pounds. But you can see pound for pound, he is definitely in the list now. I know some people dispute, and even I said I know about 7 already. But after this fight, definitely top 5 pound for pound. As he's jumped up 32 pounds in total from his first world title to this world title. That's 32 pounds from 168 to 200. And he was even 4 pounds lighter than Zerdo. Obviously kept the speed and stuff. But yeah, go down, fight Dimitri Bivol. If Bivol fights Beterbiev in the trilogy after the Eifert fight, who knows? I'd like to see that. They're the two main fights I want to see. I don't want to hear about Canelo no more. Canelo is more or less semi-retired. But let us know your thoughts on who you'd want to see David Benavidez fight next. And are you now a believer? Are you now rating the thing? Or are you still, just hating from the bleachers, or you just so anti PBC like base, you don't want to give him, because Base said, "Oh, I'm going to give him credit," but then went on to a whole tirade of dissing him. Come on, man, you got to be fair. You talk about my commentary, you got to be fair, brother. You got to be fair. But yeah, well done to him, and yeah, it was a good show and a good day of boxing overall. So big ups. So yeah, everyone, get in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on who you'd want to see Conor Walker fight next, who you'd want to see Naoya Inoue fight next, and who you want to see David Benavidez fight next. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell button, share to people to get the subs up. We need to get the subs back up because I was on 2,400. Obviously, we know what happened. We need to get my subs back. Yeah. And all that good stuff. Until next time, it's Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV Network, proudly sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know what it is. Wanada.